What up, everybody? We're here. That game sucked. The weather sucks. We're in a wind tunnel. This team, I don't like saying it, they suck.
They stink.
They've lost 4 in a row by 3 touchdowns or more.
It's embarrassing. The play on the field today was embarrassing. Not just that they're getting beat up and down the field.
Last week was embarrassing. Today was just, they're not close to as good as Detroit.
Today was embarrassing because you have Deron Payne winding up and throwing the biggest haymaker he can. And the guys in the locker room were talking about a couple dirty things that maybe the Detroit players were doing. But you have to have more composure.
Wagner at halftime talked about you got to keep your poise, you got to stay composed.
Yeah.
You
got to keep your composure.
It's just remarkable to be here, man. We're brought to you by MGM National Harbor. It's much more pleasant there than the rainy wind tunnel we're currently standing in. I think Daryl might.
That was like things are.
I don't know how long we're gonna last here.
Things are going off the rail as much.
I feel like Jim Cantori right now. The defense is terrible. Detroit didn't punt in this game.
They could have named their score.
They had 10 first downs in the first quarter. That's abhorrent. And Dan Quinn, we asked him a couple different ways. He's not going to make any decisions. He said maybe when we get to the bye week. You're at a point where you've got to fire Joe Witt. Maybe DQ won't because he's known for his loyalty and being good to his guys. But you're going to lose the fans. As much as last year made all this progress to get them back, you're going like the fan base is furious. Take a look at social media.
Forget losing the fan base. You're going to lose the locker room.
Dude,
your favorite saying, the locker room knows.
Totally.
And this locker room knows. And DQ is so loyal, and if he doesn't go make a move with Joe Witt, who needs to be gone, period.
I don't know that firing Joe Witt will do anything, but you have to do something.
And for DQ, my worry is that he's so loyal. If he doesn't fire Joe Witt in the bye week, the crosshairs are going to turn to him.
Oh, yeah.
Because things have to change.
Dude, he's a defensive head coach. Like, the crosshair, somebody asked DQ, like, hey, man, you have a defensive background. Like, what do you make of this? And he's like, it's terrible. It's awful. I also think, so that graphic on the show right now says Detroit 5 of 10 on third down conversions.
They were 3 of 3 in the first quarter.
Yeah, dude, they started getting stopped a little bit late, but then they were picking them up on fourth. Like, I think with the Witt thing, there were 2 moments in postgame talking to Bobby Wagner. Tashawn Reed from the Post asked him, kind of, what was it like? You guys changed a lot of stuff up this week. And Bobby's like, yeah, I don't know. And then I followed up with, what was it like having Witt on the sideline? He's like, I don't know. I think he wanted to give real answers there and didn't.
Yes.
You wonder, we heard whispers of this earlier in the season when they were getting torched about some of the coverage schemes, and they never blitz and all these things. Like, you wonder, we sadly know what happens late in season, in lost seasons in locker rooms is like guys will get a little more honest, and maybe it's not about, you know what I mean? Maybe it's anonymous, but they're going to say some stuff. And like that unfortunately feels like the trap. They're underdogs to Miami.
They should be. Who should they be favored against? There's nobody. This stadium today felt like FedEx Field, not Northwest Stadium. It felt like FedEx Field. The entire sideline behind us, all blue, empty seats left and right. It was. And
it's raining now, but people were leaving before the rain.
Correct.
They lasted longer this week than they did last week. People were leaving at the end of the second quarter.
It started 4 hours earlier this week.
That's true. But, people were leaving. This place was empty. Now, some of that was the rain towards the end, but people were leaving well before that, and I don't blame them. I mean, Offensively, they were okay. Offensively,
they were fine.
They did enough to compete. But when your defense gives up 546 yards, what are you supposed to do?
Jahmyr Gibbs is running for 8 yards a pop.
They can't create a turnover if their lives depended on it.
Jared Goff was dropping back. It was 7-on-7 football. It was like the summer league when they were in high school, and he's just dropping back, has all the time in the world.
Goff finished 25 of 33 for 320 and 3 touchdowns.
And listen, there was a point earlier in the season.
Dude, Gibbs averaged 9.5 per carry.
And he averaged 8.5 when they played in the playoffs last year.
Actually, it's higher than that. So Gibbs finished with 15 for $142 on the ground with 2 touchdowns and another 3 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. I went against Gibbs in fantasy. Truck had him, and I'm going to lose.
I think he was 14 for 105 and 2 touchdowns in the playoffs last year. But there was a point earlier in the season where we were getting on we were getting on individual players, Bobby Wagner in particular, but individual players for not being in the right spots, miscommunications and whatnot. I go to that goal line play right here, the first touchdown that the Lions scored, where you have Jahmyr Gibbs one-on-one with Jordan McGee. And Jordan McGee gets whooped. But guess what? So do basically every other starting linebacker in the NFL.
The middle of the field is so soft. Like, I mean, when they just started running Jamison Williams on those crossers to start the second half, it was like a joke. Honestly, that's where this thing is. It is a joke how poor they're playing defensively.
They just have no chance to stop anybody at any point. And I know fans, and I've seen, and you've all talked to us about it, are screaming at the top of your lungs about fire Joe Witt. And certainly that needs to happen.
I think it needs to happen during the bye.
But you got to get through the
bye. Like what DQ said, he's like, look, man, because I asked him, Kime asked him, and he's like, postgame's not the time for me to think about that. I'm trying to figure out what just happened on the field, and we're on a plane tomorrow night for Spain. When we get to the bye week, I got to look at everything. But right now is not the time. And it's a cop-out, but I can understand where he's coming from.
In the TV show we did on last week, you were a little dismissive when I said they very well could go 3-8 into the bye week. There's nothing that I've seen on the field in the past 4 weeks that makes me think that the Dolphins are going to be able to.
Well, and Miami responded, right? Miami
they
beat the Bills
Buffalo
today. Like
Devon Achane is a guy who is equally as quick and fast as Jahmyr Gibbs, and
Jalen Waddle.
He's going to give this team trouble left and right. Trey Amos got hurt today.
What is your single? I mean, the injuries today. Amos has kind of been a lone bright spot. He left, didn't come back. They said it was an ankle. Duran gets ejected.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was like we saw.
Kinlaw in the locker room after said St. Brown punched Payne.
Oh, I said kicked, punched.
I think he said
punched. Either way.
And he's like, the ref saw it, didn't do anything, and then Payne hits him back, and they throw him out. And Javon said it was BS. And even if it was, Duran's one of their best players. You know what I mean?
We're not going to see Duran next week in Miami. He's going to get suspended for that game.
You think?
Yes.
He clocked.
That was like, there are times when you see guys kind of throw punches. That was, he wound all the way up and threw it. And then Kinlaw, whether he pushes a ref or whatever actually happened there, it was an ugly situation. And you can talk about bad play on the field and that creating a situation where you need to fire somebody to fix things. But when you're undisciplined and bad on the field, you can't be ugly and have a bad attitude.
They tried to run the ball today. 22 carries for
Chris Rodriguez looked pretty good early.
71 yards on the ground. I mean, you can say that. He finished 6 for 16.
Yeah, 6 for 16.
Yeah.
Well,
Bill was 11 for 30.
The first drive, I thought he found a couple nice holes up the middle, which is where he can make some hay. I fear that, you're probably going to push back on this a little bit.
Go ahead then.
I think when you look at the running game, they missed somebody with the consistency of Brian Robinson.
I don't push back on that.
Okay.
I think we said it then.
Yeah.
Like they were rolling the dice on unproven guys where B-Rob was not an A player, but he was a proven B minus.
You're going to get 12 to 14 games out of him where he's going to be a solid running back.
Right. And then you lose Eckler.
Right. And then
you know what? Like if you want something encouraging, however 10 minutes into this pod we are, I think Traylon Burks looks like he could be something. Like maybe there's a reclamation project that will actually work. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter. Ben Sennett caught a touchdown.
Traylon Burks has looked good at times over his career. He's also, much like Noah Brown, much like Austin Eckler as of late, has been somebody who hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Sure.
But yes, he had a really nice catch today.
What's your singular most frustrated thing? Give me the top of your list. I'll give you mine because I'm putting you on the spot. For me, it's the refusal to blitz, the refusal to change anything. Jared Goff is a really good player. I'm not taking anything away from Jared Goff. But when you get him having to move, when you get his feet uneasy, that's when he struggles. And, like, if I know that, sure as hell they know that, and they do nothing about it. Send blitzers. If you watch Minnesota beat Detroit last week, they were blitzing like crazy. And they don't do it. And, like, if I'm Dan Quinn, I don't know how I can continue to watch that and not step in and supersede with and say, yo, we're going to do something different. Yeah. That, to me, is the top of the list. Like, you're just watching the same shit over and over and allowing it. And, like, dude, Von Miller's going to the Hall of Fame. He said, man, it's not on the coaches. They have us prepared. We just got to execute. Dan Quinn, we had an excellent week of practice. Well, then what is happening?
I could prepare you for brain surgery. You can't do it.
Sure. I mean, there's
however they're preparing them, they're not able to do it.
0 sacks, five hits on the quarterback.
What's most frustrating for me is their refusal to adjust the defensive system through the season. And
I think it's the same thing.
It's sort of the same thing, but we're going to narrow down the playbook. Okay, fine. Then we're going to try and play Jordan McGee and you know, and the other some other young guys. Then it's, we're going to move Joe Witt from the from the box down to the field. Like, these are all superficial changes because at the end of the day, your base defense,
the booth to the
that's
field
a joke. It's
just total table dressing.
Yeah.
Like, it's
rearranging deck chairs on the damn Titanic.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not adjusting your base defenses or your base calls that teams constantly take advantage of over and over and over again. And I talked to a couple guys in the locker room last week, and they were talking about, hey, like, you know, kind of like you were saying, the players, hey, they're preparing us. We're starting to meet a little more on between us to try and figure out how to fix it. But the answers aren't being given to them. And they're football players, and, you know, you listen to top corners, and they talk, hey, like, sometimes I know when I got to go make a play, I'll freelance a little bit and go make a play. These guys aren't even in good enough position to go make a play, to freelance, to try and get a big turnover or try and do something. These Lions, and granted the Lions, you know, outside guys are as quick and as fast as anybody in the league, but they are running wide open. And Jared Goff sat back there and basically was alternating between Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, everybody down the road.
It was a pick-your-score game, and it seems like all they've had are pick-your-score games. Dallas was a pick-your-score game. Kansas City could have run that thing up in the second half.
4 straight games by 20-plus points.
Seattle was a pick-your-score game. Detroit's a pick-your-score game.
We've seen bad football a lot in this stadium and following this team. This might be the single most frustrated, disappointed, angry I've been since I've been covering this team, because we saw, not that the defense was good last year by any means, but we saw at times they were able to be good. They were able to create turnovers. They were able to get to the quarterback from time to time. All of that has been washed away. And to me, they're trending dangerously close to just clearing house and starting all over again. And you don't want that in year 2 of Jaden, or year 3 of Jaden Daniels.
Right.
And hell, maybe they do clear house, and instead of being worried about Cliff Kingsbury going elsewhere, Cliff is your head coach next year. Who knows? I'm not there yet, and I don't think they should be there.
So that's what I wanted to ask, though. The capital, the goodwill capital that Dan Quinn acquired last year, right? Like, say it was 100 units.
Yeah.
How much is left? And not with fans, because fans are at negative 50. How much is left with ownership? Because here's the other thing, dude. This is not John Mara, right? Like, this is we don't have this established long track record of, like, the Rooneys don't fire anybody or whatever. Like, Harris, hell, with Philly with the Sixers has been incredibly patient. But there's a lot of people involved in this ownership group. There's a lot of people that put up cash. There's going to be a lot of people with opinions. Like, NFL owners meet with their coaches every Monday. That's a thing, right? Like, that meeting tomorrow is going to be god awful. And if DQ last year acquired 100 units of goodwill capital, I wonder where he's at with Harris. And dude, I wonder where he's at if we all go to Madrid and they get their ass kicked. And Achane goes for $150, and Waddle has 125 and 2 touchdowns.
The president of the United States was sitting right there and watched this team get waxed up and down the field while sitting in the ownership's box. Now, they can't feel good about that. And when you talk about Philly and their patience there, they were in the process.
And the NBA is just such a different beast.
But there was a plan there. There was a laid-out plan. I think there's a lot of pressure on Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, too, to put together a plan to prove that they are working towards something. Because, like you said, they got a lot of goodwill built up. And I think there's a lot of goodwill with the fan base and everything built up over the success last year. But we're starting to trend dangerously close to that Ron Rivera 7-8-1 season, year 1 making the playoffs, and thinking that you're 1 or 2 players away. You know, they made a lot of the signing. They redid a lot of the signings that they did last year with a bunch of 1-year deals with, you know, players that are mature.
They're now 3-7. If you don't beat Miami,
what's the next win? I mean, like, we're sitting here. Miami, I think you can see on the board.
Minnesota.
Oh, they took it down, but
Miami, Denver, Minnesota, and then it's 4 division games.
Right.
You get at New York, Dallas, at New York, Philly at home, Dallas at home, at Philly.
Yeah. I mean, it's bleak.
Real question. Does any non-first year coach, first year typically owners are like, all right, we just started this thing, we're on the way up. Does any coach have enough goodwill capital to ride out at 3-14?
No, not when you have certainly not when you have the expectations that you had. Sunday night, the coming out of the bye is supposed to be against the Broncos. We've all been doing the math. You think NBC or any network wants to nationally televise this product right now, this football team, and what's happening out here?
This was supposed to be the big game. Trump was here because he wanted to talk to Tom Brady.
Right.
Fox reassigned Brady to do Niners-Rams.
Instead, he got 6-7 jokes
John
from
Vilma.
Jonathan Vilma.
I mean, the flexing Week 13
is tough because it's
let's just run through it. So it's Thanksgiving.
Games.
You got Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens, and
Black
nightcap.
Friday
Then
game.
you got Black Friday as Bears, Eagles. So like of these games, man.
Did the Panthers win today?
No, they lost. But like the best game is obviously Bills Steelers, but that's probably locked in for CBS.
Yeah.
As the national 4:30
Vikings
game.
Seahawks could be a really good game.
Seahawks.
If you honestly, of these games that we're looking at, you have Colts, Texans, Dolphins,
Rams
Saints,
at Panthers.
Rams, Panthers. There aren't many games on the schedule that would be.
That's what could keep. I mean, the Texans lost today, I think.
Yeah.
Texans, Colts.
No, Texans won. They won 36-29.
I mean, Texans, Colts could be interesting for Sunday Night Football. The
point being that we're at a point that we're frustrated watching this, and we recognize how bad this thing is.
I think for NBC, if they know it's going to be Jaden, is different. But if they lost today, you're 3-7. You lose next week. Can you really play Jaden again? Jaden's going to want to play, and there's certainly the argument, football players play. It's what you do. But, like, does that make a ton of sense? I'm asking. I don't know that answer.
I don't know the answer yet either. Certainly the Broncos game seems like a toss-up if he's going to be ready for that. I think they
just
reported
3
to 6 weeks. We saw him out on the field this afternoon. He had an immobilized brace on it. Like, I'm not ready to shut him down and all that stuff yet.
Strasburg it
yet, but it certainly has to be on the table, and part of that has to be the confidence and the faith that this coaching staff and this front office have. That if they put him out there, is he going to be? Can you trust him to play responsible football?
Self-preservation league, dude.
Does
DQ need to get him out there to get a win?
If DQ gets
Marcus
him out there,
was fine today.
Right?
I mean,
how much of this game is there to break down? Really, I don't even know.
There's no game balls, Danny. Don't worry.
But Game Balls and Goats are brought to you by our good friends at Oarsman Automotive.
I saw Biaggi. He was here with his family. It was great to see his married son with his wife.
I saw.
Great to see Andy Biaggi was here.
Hey, Bob, how about a text message next time?
Damn, Bob.
Yeah, that was kind of. I had to see it on Instagram that he was here. But he's our guy.
Is this correct? It's 3-2 in the Chargers-Steelers game? It's a baseball score.
A reminder, next week we're going to be in Madrid, and Friday night at
Pod party.
9 p.m.
Have we locked the location in?
O'Reilly's Pub in downtown Madrid is our spot.
Can we make a graphic?
We're working on it.
I'm going to post a graphic.
We're going to have a graphic.
I've told people I will post a graphic.
JP's going to buy a couple beers.
We will buy some beers.
Tailgate Ted tried to tell me that I owed him 50 euros.
It's a beer. Oh, 50 euros. What's the conversion rate?
I told him I'm not getting screwed by the conversion rate. I'm also not giving him 50
rate?
50 euros is like 53 US dollars. It's not
So we win?
We lose.
Damn. That's all we do. That's all we do around here.
That's what we do. But we're gonna have a couple. We'll have a couple beers there.
Spain, things go late in Spain.
Oh, Friday night particularly because Saturday
is the only time I don't have to do 100 jobs.
Right. We might go a little bit late that night. If you're drinking around here, though.
Well, dude, what's going to be interesting is, so me and B-Mitch are now on Monumental doing the radio show, and we're going to be doing that from Spain.
Yeah, I know.
From 4 to 8 p.m.
If you want to see somebody, bebas los cervezas, JP and B-Mitch might be doing that on the stream.
Producer Joey just chimed in. He's really excited about that.
Luckily, I can't hear him, which is great.
Dude.
Real quick.
Just no.
Go
you
ahead.
real quick.
Fine, go.
You lose by 3 touchdowns in a game you didn't even turn it over. Usually in blowouts, like last week with Seattle, when it really became a clown show was when Jalen Lane fumbled the kickoff, and they scored 2 touchdowns in 11 seconds. They didn't turn it over today. They didn't turn it over, and it was a name-your-score game for Detroit.
It's a good thing they scored.
Freaking awful.
It's a good thing they scored 22 points because
So it looks decent?
So it looks decent on paper. But
That
this
was my
game
theory
wasn't-
when they kicked early. I was like, I think
we're
they're
gonna get to the stuff, and you're right about that.
Let's. I made notes of a couple things.
While you're looking up your notes, let's thank our good friends at Total Wine. They're open up in Friendship Heights.
They got a delay of game on an extra point. Dude, like, at some point, the coaching, like, DQ on down has to be assessed.
How about the timeout situation?
They just constantly burn timeouts. They got to delay a game on an extra point. What is that? That is true Mickey Mouse JV football. Like, what is going on here?
And
dude, they punted?
That was
They punted?
wild.
4th and 3 from, like, their own 30? Down
whatever
it was?
But that's when you talk about Joe Witt needs to be fired for the defense failing over and over again and the level at which they failed. But as the head coach, who's also a defensive guy, you own a little bit of
Hell yeah.
of that. But the head coaching portion of it has gone downhill so
And it was
far.
so good last year.
It was so good last year. The inconsistencies with going for it on 4th downs and being aggressive. And listen, all of this has the injury caveat to it, so I'm sure there are folks yelling at
there
their
are injuries,
computers.
dude. That is undoubtedly part of this, right?
It's-
Total Wine has parking and booze.
Yeah.
Shout out to Total Wine. Where's the shop credit, people? The boys.
All right.
Like parking.
We're
and
gonna
booze.
read a couple of these comments. B-Town Bones says the locker room is gone, and I'm not saying I don't think he's lost the locker room yet, but it's certainly trending. It's trending in that direction.
A month
and
from
that's
now,
worrisome.
if they haven't won, a month from now, if you're riding a 10-game losing streak, yeah. This isn't baseball. You're not supposed to lose 10 in a row.
FSU for life. This is something that we've yelled about for years. It says talent development is a major problem, and these coaches and their schemes aren't having.
Guys
it.
have regressed.
I don't know
Quan.
that this.
Quan is my guy. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his game, and it's just not there.
I asked you. I think I've asked you this off camera before, but do you think this roster is better today outside of Jaden Daniels than the one they took over when they got here?
Emmanuel Forbes had 2 picks today for the Rams.
No.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. The Athletic wrote a giant article about it.
About how he felt believed. I mean,
He had one
Forbes
last week also.
Shout out to Daryl Johnson.
Yeah.
DJ, come over here. Let the
people see you.
Let the people see your beautiful face.
Daryl, we were outside. Daryl was set up on the field in this rain.
This is Daryl.
We saw the rain. He did a great job.
What's most important, Daryl? What's most important today?
We're not getting wet.
No, that you got me this table.
Did
that
Deshaun
part.
Jackson get a
Shout
win?
out to you.
Deshaun Jackson definitely got a win.
You got a win this week?
Yeah, they won on Thursday.
All-time leading passer in Delaware
State history. All-time leading passer.
Shout out to Daryl.
Yeah.
Just a
Freaking
disaster.
awful game. Do we want to read any more of these comments? I mean, they're all going to be the same.
I can do it off of the computer.
I gotcha. I'm just so.
B-Town Bones,
That's
the
what we
O
just
has no
read.
chance when you ask them to score TDs every single week just to have a shot. The D makes the game unwinnable.
Blake
before they
Marshall.
even kick off.
Blake Marshall, get these boys some bourbon ASAP. You have no idea, my friend.
I have more work to do. That's even possible.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I've seen you do some work on bourbon before.
I think I'm going to go get some chili.
Some chili?
Yeah, in Old Ebbitt, open late.
Oh, Old Ebbitt is open late. Old Ebbitt's the spot.
It's chilly weather, dude.
This
I have
with the wind blowing the way it is, yeah.
How much umbrella/raincoat do you think I have?
The same amount that I have.
Yeah, but you are impervious to weather.
Right. I've built-in warmth. But not built-in dryness.
It's just a disaster, dude.
Yeah. What's the last? We got to do.
I got a funny story.
We got to do our stuff. Let's do the stuff real quick, and then you can tell your story.
Okay.
Stuff is brought to you by
Somebody.
MGM National Harbor, Tapped In,
Tap Sports Bar.
Tap Sports Bar. God, I hope those folks over at Tap.
If this was a Jeopardy topic, it'd be what are places you wish you were instead of here? MGM National Harbor, Tap Sports Bar, Total Wine. I'd go hang out at Bob's dealership. I'd go chill at Oarsman Chevy Buick GMC right now.
Dude, they got some really nice cars over
They
there.
got vending machines.
Yeah.
Just get a bag of Nutter Butters.
Oh, yeah.
Sit my ass down on a couch.
Drink some bourbon. Yeah.
I don't think you can drink bourbon at a car dealer, dude.
You're not driving. Anyways,
Push the limit.
I'll start with over-unders. JP swept him this week. He's up 5.5 to 0.
Let's go.
We had Marcus Mariota, 198.5 passing yards. He went over late in the fourth quarter to get both JP and I there.
213.
213. Then we went with Bill Merritt rushing yards. I believe 47.5 was the number. We both went
Not
under
even
it.
close.
44.5 was the number. We both went under.
Could have been 34.5 and he wouldn't have gotten there.
Yeah. And then lastly, we did how many points would the Lions have before the Commanders scored? We set the number at 13.5. I went over. JP nailed it to a T and said, I think they're going to kick a field goal early to get some points on the board. Lo and behold, they drove down. They kicked a field goal. My contention was
From the 26.
There was nothing guaranteed that field goal was going to go in.
Fair.
It did. So JP got there.
When they scored the touchdown and got the penalty on that,
yeah.
One of the members of the press was like, dude, he's going to miss this extra point now. He made it, to Gay's
Thank
credit.
goodness. Next we get to 100 chips. I won my first 100 chips bet of the season.
Yes, undoubtedly won. The
Yes.
value of your pick is questionable. There's no way moving 3 points. So that's my thing. We had these odds at plus 105. And somehow Perina
incorrect.
wrote plus 215.
Plus 215 was what I looked at when we took this on
There's
Thursday.
no way to move it up 3 points in an alt
I
is
don't know.
plus
It doesn't matter.
215.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, I won my first damn bet.
Congratulations.
Which is great. JP lost his 100. He went under
Not
for the
even
game.
close.
Detroit almost did it on their own.
Dude, honestly, a lot of these picks have been kind of wishful thinking.
Of course they are. We try.
It's
I
fake
think
money.
we try to be realistic, but it's fake money. I don't ever bet parlays in real life, but
Ever?
never.
Teasers?
I'll throw a teaser in every once in a while, but parlays never.
Okay, I don't either. There's a reason, listen, to everybody at home, there's a reason the companies are always advertising parlays. They are happy to tell you about the big winners.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Last thing was Benji bet.
No,
We both had the Commanders losing and the Commanders not covering, so we were correct there. But neither of us were remotely close to it. I don't think either of us are going to be paying each other $100 anytime soon.
Maybe you owe me 50 euros.
You want 50 euros now?
I want to talk about the Trump
I think
stuff.
this is our 1300th or around our 1300th episode that I think just you and I have been doing, maybe. No, it can't be that many. Yeah. I know that we're right around 1400. So if you want 50 euros from me, I want 1,400 beers.
Okay. Next Friday night, O'Reilly's Irish Pub.
O'Reilly's
in
Irish
Spain.
Pub, downtown Madrid.
The Trump
El
stuff
Centro de Ciudad.
was interesting.
Bizarre.
It's crazy. You post something with zero political commentary, and half the people call you a fascist, and half the people call you a snowflake. So, I guess that's doing it correct if everybody's mad at you. The few things that stood out to me were the Air Force One flyover. I had no idea how big that plane is.
Yeah.
That thing is massive, dude.
Here's my thing.
I'm not here for the politics of it. Just seeing the plane was cool.
Right.
It was pretty cool. It was loud. The stadium was like shaking.
Yeah, that was a low flyover.
Yeah, dude. It was. I understand people have their political opinions, and you're certainly entitled to them. I just wish, and I understand it was also like part spectacle to try to stop people from booing. But when the people were getting enlisted into the various branches of the military, I wish people could have, in that moment, that 40 seconds, it wasn't that long. There was ample opportunity to boo before and after. I just wish we could have supported the people that were signing up to join the military.
Right.
And I understand the anger and vitriol on all sides. Like it's an ugly space, dude. But like while those people were getting sworn into our nation's military, I wish we could have had a moment of
appreciation for what
for
they're
them,
signing
not
up
for no one else in the stadium,
Right.
for them.
And I also think it's important to point out, I'm sure a lot of our fans, a lot of people watching have been to a bunch of these games. Every single year, the military on their salute to service, they swear in the folks
this is
on the
something
field.
that happens every year.
This isn't a Trump thing.
No.
This is something that happens every year. Now, having the president come in and do it is something different and not every time. But I felt bad. I was standing with my parents actually right over here as it was happening. And I said to them, I was like, I understand all of both sides, everyone yelling about what's happening, with the president and however you feel about it.
Right.
But for the folks on the field who are signing up for service for all of us, for everybody,
Right.
Tip my cap to them, salute them.
Absolutely.
And, it's awful that we're in the world that we're in today in politics where there is no middle ground and folks have to be one side or the other. But for the folks being sworn in, that was a big deal, and that's always something that's very cool.
I agree with that. On a lighter note, are we done?
I think so. We didn't take off our ties this week.
Dude, because tonight, as embarrassing and ugly and all those things.
Just resigned?
No, it was like, I think Detroit just kicked their ass. Last week against Seattle was embarrassing. Like, you had that kid, Horton Hears a Who, 15 yards clear in the end zone. You know what I mean? Like, tonight, they just got worked. And there was some embarrassing stuff. The Payne Kinlaw, like, they were poorly coached. It was sloppy. They couldn't tackle. Amon-Ra St. Brown breaks 2 tackles at the goal line to jump
Gibbs
in.
does too.
Right, like, plenty of embarrassing stuff, but it didn't feel the same as the Seattle game, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong on that. To me, this was like Detroit just came in here and kicked your ass. They gave up 550 yards of offense. Maybe
Detroit did
maybe
come
it's just as bad as Seattle.
Detroit did come in and just wipe the floor with them. I don't want to sound like Doc Walker here and say canine, manhood issue. At some point, you want someone to step up and do something about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can blame the coaches. We can talk about the scheme. We can talk about all those things. At the end of the day, you're players on a football field.
That's what Von Miller said.
And you want someone to step up and just do it.
Right.
And I think that combined with the Payne and Kinlaw stuff is tough to wrap your
delay
head
of
around.
game on an extra point.
The use of the timeouts early in halves.
A delay of game on an extra point.
Granted, none of it matters, but it's just.
All right, I got a funny story.
All right, tell me a funny story. Tell me something that's going to make me smile.
So down on the sideline pregame, and there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of action. I got to meet Miss Maryland, Miss DC,
I saw they were there,
and Miss Virginia.
You slip my phone number?
I did. I told them your DMs are open.
All right, there you go.
They were very, very nice young women. But there was a lot of commotion. There was somebody walking around, and I hear this dude screaming, Santana! Santana! He's screaming Santana, Santana, Santana. And I look over, and it was D. Hall. And this guy is furious that Santana won't turn around and talk to him. He's like, my son loves you, sign an autograph, Tana. And D. Hall's just like, what is going on? And he was being ushered away anyway. But you got to scream, you got to have the right name.
Is it better or worse than when you got confused for Chick Hernandez?
Oh, dude.
That was worse.
I get Chick and Chad Ricardo. 2 people I don't look a lot like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story.
What a world.
Yep.
You done?
I all of a sudden feel better. Excited.
When is the next pod? Madrid?
So
I guess we talk to DQ tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll talk to DQ tomorrow. We'll see what he says, whether we do a pod or not. We'll have pods Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in Madrid. Wednesday and Friday will be on the Monumental
Old Evan,
Sports.
I'm coming for your chili.
Wednesday and Friday will be on the Monumental Sports Beltway YouTube page. Come join us there. Hopefully we're able to talk about some changes or things that are going to get better, but I think
there's not going to be any changes this week.
I know. Changes to player.
Maybe they win.
Maybe. I'm not that bullish about that.
It's fair. When you've lost bullish Mitch, you're in trouble.
Anyways, if you made this far, JP owes you a beer.
I will get you a beer at O'Reilly's.
Madrid. Downtown Madrid.
Mitch picked a very authentic Madridian spot.
There's a bar/club next door that I figure we'll start at O'Reilly's and have a couple reasonable beers and talk to some folks and have human conversation, and then we'll see where the night takes us.
Bringing your dancing shoes?
I always have my dancing shoes.
Are you bringing your sexy jeans?
Always.
Oh, that's a French voice. Adios. We're getting ready for Spain, even if the football might suck.
Adios.